All right. Hello, everybody. We are here officially for the Nvidia shareholder annual meeting. This is going to be an important meeting to see what happens for Nvidia. I'm just logging in right now onto the website, and I don't even know if Jensen's going to be here. I'm pretty sure he's going to be here. Like, usually he is, but we're going to have to see what they say. All right, we're getting started right now. Here we go. Let's get into it.
For annual meeting of stockholders. I'm Simona Jankowski, Vice President of Investor Relations. We're hosting a fully virtual annual meeting again this year. As a reminder, the rules of conduct for the meeting are posted on our virtual meeting website. We ask that you follow them to help the meeting run smoothly. Other members of NVIDIA's management who are on the line with me today are Jensen Huang, President, Chief Executive Officer, and Director; Colette Kress, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer.
Okay, so Jensen's going to be on.
Executive Vice President, General Counsel, and Secretary. I would also like to introduce the outside members of our board who are in attendance: Rob Burgess, Tench Cox, John DeBeery, Persis Drell, Don Hudson, Harvey Jones, Melissa Laura, Steve Neal, Brooke Sewell, Artie Shaw, and Mark Stevens. Finally, I would like to introduce Sarah Beelard from PricewaterhouseCoopers, our independent registered public accounting firm. After the formal portion of the meeting and Jensen's business update, we will set aside some time for questions. I will now turn the meeting over to Tim.
Thanks, Simona. Good morning and welcome to our 2024 annual meeting, which will now officially come to order. Jensen will serve as chairman, and I will serve as the secretary and conduct the procedural portion of the meeting. First, a few housekeeping items. We have opened the online portal for stockholders to vote their shares, and I'll make an announcement when the polls are about to be closed. Stockholders may ask questions during the meeting. If you have a question, please enter it into the portal. As stated in our rules of conduct, the meeting is not to be used as a forum to present general, economic, political, or other views that are not directly related to our business, the business of the meeting, or for matters of individual concern. In fairness to all attendees, we will limit each stockholder to one question. We may provide a single response to multiple questions generally asking the same or similar things. After the conclusion of the meeting, we will publish the questions, if pertinent to NVIDIA's business or the business of the meeting, along with our responses on our investor relations website. During this meeting, we may make forward-looking statements based on current expectations. These forward-looking statements are subject to a number of significant risks and uncertainties, and our actual results may differ materially. For a discussion of factors that could affect our future financial results and business, please refer to the reports we may file from time to time with the Securities and Exchange Commission, including our annual report on Form 10-K and our quarterly report on Form 10-Q. All of our statements are made as of June 26, 2024, based on information available to us as of today, and except as required by law, we assume no obligation to update them. We will address the matters described in our proxy statement dated May 14, 2024. Following Jensen's business update, the polls will be closed. We'll announce preliminary voting results, and then the official portion of the meeting will be adjourned. I have a complete list of the stockholders of record of NVIDIA's common stock on the April 29, 2024 record date for this meeting. I also have an affidavit from Broadridge certifying that they commenced the mailing of proxy materials on May 14, 2024. I'm appointing Chris Woods of American Election Services, LLC, to act as the Inspector of Elections at this meeting. He will tally the final votes when balloting on all matters is completed. Chris has taken the customary oath of office, and we will file this oath with the records of the meeting. The presence, in person or by proxy, of a majority of the shares entitled to vote at the meeting will constitute a quorum. There were approximately 2.5 billion shares outstanding on a pre-stock split basis on the record date, and Chris has informed me that proxies have been received for approximately 1.9 billion shares, or approximately 79% of the shares outstanding, which constitutes a quorum for today's meeting. Each share of common stock is entitled to one vote. If you are eligible to vote and have not submitted your proxy, or if you want to change your vote, please vote online now. You do not need to vote if you have already sent in your signed proxy or voted online or by telephone. Your votes will be counted automatically. The time is 9:05 a.m. and the polls are currently open for voting. There are 4 items of business for this meeting. First, the election of Rob Burgess, Tench Cox, John DeBerry, Persis Drell, Jensen Huang, Don Hudson, Harvey Jones, Melissa Laura, Steve Neal, Brooke Sewell, Artie Shaw, and Mark Stevens to serve as directors until our 2025 annual meeting. Second, the approval of the compensation of our named executive officers for fiscal 2024 as disclosed in our proxy statement. Third, the ratification of PwC as our independent registered public accounting firm for fiscal 2025. And fourth, the approval of a stockholder proposal to replace the supermajority voting provisions in our charter and bylaws with a simple majority voting standard. At this time, we would like to introduce John Chevedden to present his proposal. Mr. Chevedden, you have 3 minutes. Please begin.
Hello, this is John Chevedden. Proposal 4, simple majority vote. Shareholders request that the Board of Directors take the necessary steps so that each voting requirement in the charter and bylaws that calls for a greater than simple majority vote be replaced by a requirement for a majority of the shares voted for and against such proposals, or a simple majority. This includes making the necessary changes in plain English. Shareholders are willing to pay a premium for shares of companies that have excellent corporate governance. Supermajority voting requirements have been found to be one of 6 entrenching mechanisms that are negatively related to company performance, according to What Matters in Corporate Governance by Lucian Bebchuk of the Harvard Law School. Supermajority requirements can be used to block initiatives supported by most shareholders but opposed by a status quo management. This proposal topic won from 74% to 88% support at Weyerhaeuser, Alcoa, Waste Management, Goldman Sachs, First Energy, and Macy's. These votes would have been higher than 74% to 88% if small shareholders had access to independent proxy voting advice. This proposal also received overwhelming 98% support at the 2023 annual meeting of American Airlines and the Carlyle Group. The Board of Directors is not opposed to this proposal, which should open the floodgates for shareholders to vote in favor. The Board of Directors has no good reason to have any reservation about supporting this proposal. According to the Board of Directors statement next to this proposal, the only reason to maintain the present 7-prong 67% shareholder approval requirements is to avoid a situation that is highly unlikely to occur. That is, a large number of Nvidia shareholders failing to vote at the annual meeting. Plus, the Board of Directors is already in a powerful position to make sure that such a highly unlikely situation, a large number of Nvidia shareholders failing to vote at the annual meeting, will never occur, should there be the slightest hint that it might occur. Please vote yes. Simple majority vote, Proposal 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chevedden. As the company has not received notice from any of its stockholders of any other matter to be considered at today's meeting, no other proposals will be addressed. If you have not voted and intend to vote, or if you want to change your vote, please do so online now. Proxies, votes, or any changes or revocations submitted after the closing of the polls will not be accepted. I'll turn it over to Jensen for a business update, following which we will announce the preliminary results of the meeting and then answer stockholder questions.
All right, here's Jensen. Here we go.
Accelerated computing and AI are the most consequential technologies of our time. Modern computing started 60 years ago with the IBM System 360. The basic principles of its general purpose computing architecture still govern today's computer industry. For nearly a decade, as the performance scaling of general purpose processing has slowed, while computing demand continued, an exponentially growing performance to demand deficit has built up. If unchecked, this computing energy and cost inflation will stifle every industry. Nvidia's accelerated computing has stepped in to the breach to meet the exponentially growing computing deficit. After 2 decades of work to reinvent the entire computing stack, Nvidia accelerated computing has created a path forward at just the right time. Nvidia accelerated computing has been described as a time machine for scientists to see the future, an instrument of discovery for the Da Vinci's and Einsteins of our time. From Nvidia accelerated computing emerged generative AI, the result of over a decade and billions of dollars of investment. Nvidia has made possible for the first time the production of our most valuable resource, intelligence. Like the AC generation plants invented by Nikola Tesla, Nvidia's supercomputers are AI generation plants or AI factories. We've started a new industrial revolution to mass produce digital intelligence. To seize this generational opportunity, companies and countries around the world are building NVIDIA-powered AI factories to process, refine, and manufacture intelligence from data. Intelligence in the form of digital tokens is a new kind of commodity, a new product, and it will create new revenue opportunities for the world's $100 trillion of industries. For the computer industry, generative AI represents a fundamental shift. Every layer of the computing stack is being reinvented. Where we once wrote software programs to execute explicit instructions, now we prompt large language models with our intentions. Computers are now intention-driven rather than instruction-driven. Tell a computer what you want, and it will figure out how to accomplish this goal. A complete reinvention of our industry, from how computers are designed, to how software is developed, to what software can do, will expand the horizons of every industry. A new industrial revolution has begun. Soon, every industry will be transformed. The historic nature of this moment is evident in our numbers. For FY24, revenue was up 126% to a record $60.9 billion. GAAP diluted earnings per share pre-split was $11.93, up 586% from a year ago. Demand for Hopper architecture products remains strong, and Blackwell, its successor, has been broadly adopted by the industry. By customer demand, ecosystem adoption, and bookings, the Blackwell architecture platform will likely be the most successful product in our history, and even of the entire computer history. Full-year gaming revenue rose 15% to $10.4 billion on strong demand for our GeForce RTX GPU. Full-year revenue for professional visualization rose 1% to $1.6 billion, and automotive full-year revenue rose 21% to $1.1 billion. NVIDIA accelerated computing has reached a tipping point and achieved a virtuous cycle. The significant CUDA installed base attracts developers and applications, which attract resellers reaching customers, which expands the installed base to attract more developers. CUDA, our parallel computing model, sits at the heart. It offers developers an unparalleled toolkit with over 300 libraries, 600 AI models, numerous SDKs, and supports 3,700 GPU-accelerated applications. This has resulted in a rich ecosystem that spans more than 5 million developers and 40,000 companies and thousands of generative AI companies building on NVIDIA. Accelerated computing is incredibly fast, but not quick to adopt. It has taken Nvidia over 20 years to reach the CUDA tipping point. Applications must be rewritten to suit the new architecture and complex algorithms embedded in our CUDA libraries. Here are some examples of the hundreds of CUDA libraries. cuDNN, our renowned deep learning library, provides optimized kernels that accelerates neural network computations. Aerial, our CUDA engine for 5G radio access networks, is paving the way for a software-defined and AI-driven telecom industry. cuLitho addresses the computational challenges in lithography, the critical stage of chip manufacturing. Accelerated computing is sweeping across healthcare as digital biology and generative AI revolutionize drug discovery, surgery, medical imaging, wearable devices to patient care. Our partners include Amgen, Genentech, Johnson & Johnson MedTech, Medtronic, and hundreds of startups transforming healthcare into one of the world's largest tech industries. Just one example, our Parabricks CUDA library streamlines gene sequencing alignment and variant calling, offering the highest throughput in gene sequencing. In climate science, Nvidia CoreDiff powers Earth-2, a digital twin that emulates Earth's weather and climate systems. CoreDiff is Nvidia's generative AI model that predicts weather patterns 12 times higher in resolution, from 25 kilometer to 2 kilometer, and 3,000 times more energy efficiently than traditional physical simulation methods. Accelerated computing is sustainable computing. Every application that can be accelerated should be going forward. CUDA libraries activate NVIDIA accelerated computing for new application domains and open new markets and growth opportunities for our partner ecosystem. The world's $1 trillion of data centers should be modernized with accelerated computing. This year, we launched some of the most important products in our history. This is Blackwell. It starts with the most advanced GPU, designed for trillion parameter scale generative AI, and our fifth generation NVLink, which connects up to 576 Blackwell GPUs into one super GPU, up from just 8 Hopper GPUs. And compared to previous generation Hopper, Blackwell can train large language models with only a quarter of the GPUs and a quarter of the energy, showcasing a 25 times reduction in cost of ownership and energy consumption when inferencing frontier large language models. NVIDIA's offering starts with the most advanced GPU, but an AI factory is much more, combining Blackwell GPUs, NVLink, Grace CPUs, Quantum and Spectrum-X switches, and a rich ecosystem of software, systems, and data center partners. The Blackwell platform will be adopted by every major cloud service provider, server maker, and leading AI companies, including Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, Tesla, and xAI. PC users have always been able to get the software they needed quickly and easily. Now, we're introducing a new way to distribute AI models. We call this new capability NVIDIA Inference Microservices, or NIMs. NIMs deliver enterprise-grade, optimized generative AI that runs on CUDA everywhere, from the cloud to on-prem data centers to RTX AI PCs, through our expansive network of ecosystem partners. NIMs integrate CUDA libraries, optimized inference engines, industry standard APIs, and AI model support into containers for straightforward deployment. These containerized pre-trained AI-in-a-box microservices enable enterprises across all industries to evolve into AI-driven companies. Adobe, Cadence, CrowdStrike, Getty Images, SAP, ServiceNow, Shutterstock, and others were among the first to access NIMS. More than 250 technology and platform providers are embedding NIMS into their services. And in healthcare, NIMS are already powering foundation models in drug discovery, medical imaging, and genomics. The next wave of AI is set to automate the $50 trillion in heavy industries. Soon, robotics factories will orchestrate robots that build products that are robotic. We developed Omniverse, a revolutionary virtual world simulation platform where the physical and digital world converge for developers to create robotic systems. Within Omniverse, industrial companies design, integrate, simulate, and operate digital twins of robotic systems, like factories, robots, and products. Omniverse is pioneering an open standard, open universal scene description format to seamlessly integrate industry-leading tools from design to manufacturing, allowing companies to create comprehensive digital twins that optimize the entire production life cycle. Self-driving cars are kind of a robot. The automotive industry has been an early adopter of Nvidia Omniverse as it seeks to digitalize its entire workflow, from design to build, simulation, and operation, and even experience its factories and cars virtually. The new era of manufacturing is coming. Thousands of new and established companies are building robots and robotic systems. These companies will have two factories, one to build the physical robots, and another, an AI factory, to manufacture the intelligence that drives them. Generative AI and robotics are opening new growth opportunities, as well as drive a new level of productivity for the $50 trillion manufacturing industries. The next industrial revolution has begun. AI factories are producing a revolutionary commodity, tokens of digital intelligence. These AI factories are setting the stage for generative AI to become a multi-trillion-dollar industry and transform every industry. And the rise of sovereign AI in countries like Japan, Canada, and France, among many others, is a testament to the universal recognition of the importance of developing one's own AI capabilities, adapted for each nation's language and culture. Just 12 years after AlexNet, which was trained on two Nvidia GTX 580 GPUs, stunned the computing world and ignited the Big Bang of modern AI. We are now beginning to realize the immense transformative potential before us. No one knew how far deep learning would take us. No one knew how far it would scale. I want to take this opportunity to thank the many researchers and scientists and developers, ecosystem partners, customers, and employees who dedicated themselves to explore what was a $0 billion market with us. We've reinvented Nvidia, the computer industry, and very likely the world.
Thanks, Jensen. The time is 9:23 a.m., and the polls are now closed. The preliminary report of the Inspector of Elections covering the proposals presented at this meeting is as follows. First, each of the 12 director nominees on the ballot has been elected to serve until our 2025 annual meeting and until his or her successor is elected or appointed. Proposal 2, to approve the fiscal 2024 compensation of our named executive officers as disclosed in our proxy statement, has been approved. Proposal 3, to ratify PwC as Nvidia's independent registered public accounting firm for fiscal 2025 has been approved. Proposal 4, to approve a stockholder proposal to replace the supermajority voting provisions in our charter and bylaws with a simple majority voting standard has been approved. A full tally of the votes will be published in a Form 8-K, which we expect to file with the SEC within 4 business days. That concludes the formal portion of today's annual meeting, and I now declare the official portion of the meeting adjourned. I'll turn it over to Simona for stockholder questions.
Thanks, Tim. We'll now move to Q&A. We grouped together duplicative questions that we received to streamline the discussion. For our first question, Jensen, can you discuss Nvidia's strategy for maintaining its competitive edge? What are your thoughts on the threat of other players in the industry developing competitive products?
Over a decade ago, we envisioned a new opportunity and dove into deep learning, systematically reinventing everything: the GPUs, interconnects, the systems, the networking, and of course, the software. We invested billions pushing into the unknown, extending the frontier of computing technology. Thousands of engineers have worked for a decade on deep learning, advancing and scaling without knowing how far we could take the technology. We transformed our company end to end to become a full stack, data center scale, AI systems and platform company. Today, we continue to push the frontiers of accelerated computing and AI. Our competitive advantage is our expertise, scale, and velocity to create the most advanced and end-to-end optimized AI computing systems, create new markets for them, and attract the world's developers while delivering extraordinary value to our customers. NVIDIA offers customers the lowest total cost of ownership through exceptional performance delivered by innovations at every layer of the stack, from chips to systems to software and algorithms. And the NVIDIA platform is broadly available through every major cloud provider and computer maker, creating a large and attractive install base for developers and customers, which makes our platform more valuable to our customers. NVIDIA has achieved a virtuous cycle.
For our next question, what are NVIDIA's plans for quantum computing development?
Practical quantum computing is still a couple of decades away, and when it arrives, computing algorithms will be a combination of accelerated and quantum approaches. NVIDIA CUDA Quantum is a platform for quantum computing and algorithm researchers to solve challenges on the road to useful quantum computing. We're partnering with the entire ecosystem, from the development of quantum algorithms, the design of higher fidelity qubits, the development of novel error correction techniques, to the calibration and optimal control of quantum device. NVIDIA's CUDA Quantum is an essential platform for the quantum computing community. Though no one knows which qubit technology will end up in useful quantum computers, NVIDIA's role in powering them is certain. NVIDIA is not building a quantum computer. We're building the platform essential for all quantum computers.
Thank you. Our next question is, what is the company's diversification strategy, particularly into the pharmaceutical industry?
NVIDIA is an accelerated computing platform company. We address multiple industries, from healthcare to automotive, manufacturing, financial services, energy, retail, gaming, and many others. Through a combination of our hardware systems and domain-specific software stacks, and a rich ecosystem of partners and developers. AI has sparked the next industrial revolution. It will transform every industry. Innovation in healthcare, drug discovery in particular, will be supercharged by generative AI. For the first time, we can represent and understand the meaning of the two things that describe drugs: biology and chemistry in a computer. This is paving the way for rise of computer-aided drug discovery, which should help the pharmaceutical industry become more efficient and effective in finding drugs for specific diseases and even specific people someday. We have built many enabling components, including our BioNeMo generative AI platform for drug discovery and our Parabricks software for genomics to make computer-aided drug discovery possible. And we're working with leaders in the field from Amgen to Genentech to Recursion, all of whom are already making rapid progress on the Nvidia platform. Healthcare, automotive, and digital manufacturing are among the largest vertical industries we serve, with the highest potential for the impact that we make and the size of the opportunity. But the Nvidia computing platform can support all $100 trillion worth of vertical industries worldwide, and we expect that to lead to increased diversification in the types of workloads and customers we serve.
Next, could you talk about our strategy to address the current semiconductor supply chain challenges? How does Nvidia ensure a stable supply of semiconductor customers?
Nvidia has the expertise and scale to develop a resilient supply chain. We will continue pursuing flexibility and redundancy in our supply chain, evaluating and quantifying multiple suppliers for components and processes that we use to build our products. In addition, we have strong relationships with our suppliers, and we may enter into long-term agreements to ensure supply and prepay for manufacturing or other key capacities.
What is Nvidia doing to ensure that artificial intelligence has proper guardrails?
Nvidia is actively shaping AI safety and ethics. We are members of safety initiatives in the US, EU, and UK. We are at the forefront of standard-setting bodies like the IEEE and the Content Authenticity Initiative, crafting guidelines that will govern the AI landscape for generations to come. Our partnerships with state and federal agencies ensure that we together are thoughtfully and collaboratively addressing challenges like content safety, model risk mitigation, and data privacy protection. We have also developed and released trustworthy AI technologies, including NeMo Guardrails, an open source tool for language models that allow developers and companies to control or prohibit prompts and outputs. We lead the industry in research and development of active safety computing systems and digital twin simulation platforms to ensure the safe functioning of robotic systems.
Thank you. Can you talk about the company's approach to corporate sustainability matters, including diversity and climate change?
Diversity and inclusion enhance innovation and empower our workforce. We want to attract people who want to do their life's work at Nvidia and tackle the world's toughest challenges, and are committed to enhancing diversity in our company. Attracting and developing employees with diverse backgrounds and experiences is key to unlocking our full potential in creating groundbreaking products. Nvidia is at the forefront of energy-efficient accelerated computing. General-purpose computing performance scaling has slowed. Customers are turning to Nvidia-pioneered accelerated computing as the path to sustainable and cost-effective innovation. Nvidia is modernizing the world's trillion-dollar data center industry and enabling applications to create remarkable new efficiencies and save incredible amounts of energy in every industry. Accelerated computing is sustainable computing.
Thank you, Jensen. We have now reached the time limit for the 2024 annual meeting, and our program has now concluded. A copy of this webcast will be available online on our website through June 25th, 2025. We look forward to another great year at Nvidia. Thank you for attending and for your continued support of Nvidia. Our 2024 annual meeting is now closed.
Okay, so that's done.
The conference is now.
That's done. So we're going to go straight to Robinhood. That ended right when Robinhood's starting. So let's go to Robinhood right now. If you don't care about Robinhood, then thank you for joining. That was the shareholder call. We didn't hear anything crazy from Jensen. Pretty much the same stuff. He did say Blackwell is going to be the most important product in the history of computing. I mean, that was some big news. But outside of that, that was pretty much it. All right, let's go to Robinhood shareholder meeting happening right now.
It's going to close right after we present Proposal 3. So if you want to vote and have not done so yet, you should start voting while the proposals are being presented. Each proposal is presented in the company's proxy statement that we filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission on April 26, 2024. And I will provide a brief overview of each. The first proposal is the election of 8 director nominees to serve until the 2025 annual meeting and until their respective successors are elected and qualified, or until their earlier departure from office. Our board of directors has nominated and recommends the election of the following nominees: Vladimir Tenev, Baiju Bhatt, Paula Loop, Mickey Malka, Jonathan Rubinstein, Susan Siegel, Dara Tressiter, and Robert Zellick. There were no nominations under our advance notice bylaw, and therefore the nominations are now closed and this proposal is properly before the meeting. The second proposal is the advisory vote to approve the compensation of our named executive officers. Our board of directors believes that our compensation philosophy, policies, and practices promote a performance-based culture and align our executives' interests with those of our stockholders through a strong emphasis on at-risk compensation linked to long-term performance. The vote is advisory and therefore is not binding on us, our People Committee, or our board of directors. Our People Committee and our board of directors value the opinion of our stockholders, will carefully review the voting results, and will consider them when making future compensation decisions for our named executive officers. Our board recommends that stockholders vote for the advisory vote to approve the compensation of our named executive officers, and this proposal is properly before the meeting. The third proposal is to ratify the appointment of Ernst & Young LLP as the company's independent registered public accounting firm for our 2024 fiscal year, which is the fiscal year ending December 31, 2024. Although EY does not wish to make a statement, Mr. Offit and Mr. Outland are available to respond to appropriate questions. As further described in the proxy statement, Robinhood's Audit Committee, which is composed entirely of independent directors within the meaning of applicable SEC rules and NASDAQ listing standards, is directly responsible for appointing the independent registered public accounting firm for the company and has appointed EY to serve in that capacity for 2024. Our board recommends that stockholders ratify the appointment of Ernst & Young LLP as the company's independent registered public accounting firm for our 2024 fiscal year, and this proposal is now properly before the meeting. There being no other proposals or business before the meeting, we will provide a few moments for those attending the meeting to submit their votes via the virtual meeting platform. If anyone is still voting, please submit your ballots now. The time is 9:37 a.m. and the polls are now closed. Thank you everyone for your participation. Our Inspector of Elections has provided the preliminary voting results to share with stockholders at the meeting. The preliminary voting results are as follows. The 8 director nominees for election to the company's board of directors have been elected. The compensation of our named executive officers has been approved on an advisory basis, and the appointment of Ernst & Young LLP as the company's independent registered public accounting firm for our 2024 fiscal year has been ratified. We will file a Form 8-K with the SEC within 4 business days to report the final results. On behalf of the chair, I now declare the business portion of the 2024 annual meeting of stockholders adjourned. We will now take some questions submitted and upvoted through the Say platform prior to the meeting. I'd like to remind everyone that today's Q&A may contain forward-looking statements about our strategic and operational plans. Actual results could differ materially from our expectations. Potential risk factors that could cause differences are described in our quarterly report on Form 10-Q for the quarter ended March 31st, 2024, and in our other SEC filings. Today's discussion may also include non-GAAP financial measures. Reconciliations to the GAAP results we consider most directly comparable can be found in the first quarter 2024 earnings presentation on our investor relations website at investors.robinhood.com. So now I have the privilege of welcoming back our co-founder, CEO and chair, Vlad Tenev, to take questions about our company and business.
Let's go, Vlad.
Thanks, Christina, and it's good to be back.
So we're excited to address what's on our stockholders' minds. So let's dive right in. The first question comes from John Henry H., who asks, when is the gold card going to be more generally available?
That's a big
Super
one.
excited for it.
Thanks for the question. We're super excited about the gold card too. I should mention we've seen a ton of demand. Over 1 million people joined the wait list within the first month. And we've already started rolling the gold card out to the initial group of several tens of thousands of customers. And the idea with this group is for it to be a relatively representative sample of what we'd expect when we roll it out at scale. The early results, by the way, the early customer feedback, and you can see it when you look at the App Store reviews, are just fantastic. So I'm really proud of the product that we've built, and it's clear that it's resonating with the customers that are using it thus far. So what we're doing now, we're studying the spending and borrowing activity, and we want to use that information to inform our broader rollout strategy. So we're super excited to get the card into our customers' hands. The product, from a product and engineering standpoint, is in good shape, and it's really just about making sure that the spending and borrowing activity looks good and conforms to expectations, and that's why we want to be prudent with this rollout.
The next question comes from Amit P., who asks, when will you start to pay dividends?
That's not me.
Yeah, so I think the broader question of driving value to stockholders, we think about it in a couple of ways. So number one, using our capital to make organic investments in the business. Two, layering in M&A activity, so mergers and acquisitions, so that we can accelerate our roadmap. And the third is returning capital to stockholders through things like buybacks. So you're seeing us do all three. In terms of returning capital to shareholders, our preference right now is for buybacks. And last year, you might remember we bought back over 55 million shares, and we recently announced a $1 billion share repurchase authorization, which we plan to start executing in Q3 of this year.
The next question comes from Richard M., who asks, what types of companies do you plan to absorb into Robinhood to further your growth?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think it's a really good one. When we think about M&A activity, we really like to see a significant acceleration to our roadmap. And so there's three things that we're focused on strategically. Winning in the active trader market is number one. Growing wallet share with customers, helping them build wealth, and expanding internationally. So even though we've generally preferred to grow our technology platform organically, we have built up a great M&A function that accelerates the organic growth that we've been building. So you saw us do that with X1 last year, which became the Robinhood Gold Card, the credit card product that I was speaking about earlier. More recently, with the pending acquisition of Bitstamp, which would allow us to expand internationally and accelerate that, while also entering the crypto institutional business. So we're going to continue to evaluate deals where we feel like there's significant product roadmap acceleration. We can bring in great leadership teams and great talent into the company to help us execute on our mission.
Thanks, Vlad. We have a couple of questions on features from Gregory V., Sahil V., and Dwight D. They ask if there are plans for a dividend tracker, more market data and tools, futures, and currency trading.
In short, yes. We plan to build many and probably all of those things given enough time. Product velocity has been really solid. The team has shipped a lot of great products over the last year or so. 24-hour market, which has rapidly become the industry standard for overnight trading in equities markets. of course, the Robinhood Gold Card. We've recently released a crypto trading API. Recently, also for our gold customers, we have our unlimited deposit boost on all deposits for gold members. And in the past couple of months, we've been expanding internationally as well. So there's a mixture of things like 24-hour market, which are differentiated and unique in our space. Things that maybe customers have experienced at other brokerages, and over time we'll plan to continue to roll those out and catch up. So tax lot selection, I know, has been a huge request, and we've been hard at work delivering things like that. And then, you know, things you mentioned, dividend tracking, futures, we've announced, and we're really excited to continue polishing that product and getting it ready for launch. There's many more things. We're not slowing down by any means.
Executing.
Okay. The next question comes from Vishal A, who asks, any plans to launch the Robinhood platform in other countries?
Yes, we have big plans. One of our 3 key priorities as a business is to expand internationally and make Robinhood available to basically everyone in the world. Everyone with a smartphone should be able to access low cost and accessible and really delightful financial services. And we've already started doing this. We've started executing on international expansion, and we intend to accelerate and deepen over time. So at the end of last year, we launched Robinhood Crypto in the EU, as well as Robinhood Brokerage in the UK. So far, feedback from customers has been positive. And the main focus in those markets is to round out the UK offering and the EU crypto offering. Customers largely have been asking us to make available products and features that we already have in the US. And that's been really good to see. And a big focus has just been on making the things that we have built globally available, and working with, you know, the regulators and stakeholders in these geos to facilitate that. Bitstamp also would augment that and accelerate it by getting us a regulated international crypto exchange to augment the international business. And we're not stopping from there. We're looking at further geos, more product expansion, and extending our global unified platform that we've been organically building. So international expansion, very, very important. We've started executing on it. You should expect that continues and even accelerates over the long run.
Thanks, Vlad. Richard M asks, you have a household name and have significantly expanded since your inception. What are future services or products Robinhood plans to capitalize on?
Yeah, so if we think about what we want Robinhood to be over the long run, we think we have a place in the world where we can hold and custody and safeguard all of our customers' assets and facilitate all of their financial transactions. And the way we're thinking about executing on that is really in 3 parts. Number 1, the core business is the active trading space, and we intend to win the active trader market. And we've made a lot of progress there. We've been growing our market share and improving our products and continuing to roll out new assets and new product innovations like 24-hour market. We also want to gain and build wallet share with our customers, help them build their long-term wealth. And you've seen the advancements we've made in Robinhood Gold, all the depositing tools, the Robinhood Gold Card, the high APY on high yield that we offer customers. And that's been going very well. And expanding internationally, which I was just getting into. So in each of these things, we've got unique products that complement the strategy, such as a premium product for pro traders on web who can really make use of the large real estate. We're very excited about that. we're continuing to double down on gold. And by the way, last quarter we announced that we had more gold subscribers than we've ever had in company history. And we see a huge potential to deepen the relationships and the wallet share with customers there. And over the long run, we think that these things will compound and will continue feeding the flywheel of Robinhood Gold and the company overall. And we'll get to a place where we're actually serving all of our customers' financial needs all over the world.
The next question comes from Carol Y., who asks, are there plans to join the S&P 500 this year?
I think we're focused on the right things. So we've been working to deliver consistent profitability in the business. And of course, consistent profitability is one of the requirements there. And we've also been enhancing our offering, diversifying the business over time to drive revenue growth. Of course, there are only 500 spots in the S&P 500, and ultimately it's the decision of the committee. So this isn't completely in our control, but as we stay focused on our business and keep building the company the way we intend to keep building it, over time, it would be great to be part of that index.
The next question is from Serdar M., who asks, are there any plans to introduce new AI-driven analytical tools for investors?
Oh,
yeah. Thanks for the question. So there are two, I believe there are two big technological shifts that are going on right now that have the potential to change the financial industry. And they're AI and cryptocurrency. And actually, we intend for Robinhood to be the leader in financial services in both. We think that there's relatively few opportunities where the financial system and kind of the world can be reorganized by these platform shifts. And we have the technology and the people and the wherewithal to actually be leaders. So we see a lot of opportunity. I think from very early on, when it comes to AI, we've built the data science and machine learning capabilities at Robinhood. That's of course accelerated with new people and new teams as these generative technologies and LLMs have kind of continued to develop. We've got lots of areas where we're using those internally, from engineering to operations, and then you're starting to see them be reflected in products too. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and announce exactly what that's going to look like, but I think in the coming months and years, I think it'll start to become more clear exactly how we intend to lead the space.
they're hiring AI engineers if you look on their
Thanks,
jobs.
Vlad. For the final question, we received questions from Christina Y. and Gilbert T. on custodial accounts, namely if and when Robinhood will offer them.
Yes, thanks for those questions. Robinhood, over time, will offer all assets that our customers want to hold or trade, and all account types for our customers as well. So we've been hearing a lot about all kinds of account types. We hear from customers that they want to be able to teach their children about investing through custodial accounts. We also hear a lot of requests for joint accounts to allow folks to manage their finances with a partner. Last year, we really built a lot of the plumbing and infrastructure to have multiple accounts per customer with the launch of retirement. We've been seeing great adoption there. And you're going to see more account types. You're going to see more account types, and we're going to continue to add account types and assets until we have the broadest possible coverage of our customers' investing needs. So stay tuned, and you'll see that soon.
Great. Thanks, Vlad. And thank you to all our stockholders that submitted questions. We're really excited about the future ahead. Any last words, Vlad?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you all for participating and listening to the annual meeting, and for being Robinhood stockholders. As hopefully you can tell, we're very excited about the year ahead. We think we're just getting started. We're going to roll out amazing products and experiences that we think will change people's relationship with money, change how they invest and spend and save. And we think we can do all of that while building a great company that offers great returns to shareholders. So we're continuing to demonstrate that, and we look forward to sharing more updates with you. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was the shareholder meeting. So don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. Now they said that on TV. Don't touch that dial. We got Shyam Spanker. Shyam Spanker. Did I just say Shyam? Dude, I was saying analyst today. Now I said Shyam Spanker. Shyam Sankar is going to be speaking in 5 minutes at the Revitalize conference. And so we're going to get to see what he has to say. I'll be streaming that live. So we had Nvidia, Robinhood, Shyam Sankar. I've got 5 minutes before we get into Shyam's talk. So first of all, takeaways from Nvidia. I mean, the stock is selling off right now, and I don't think it's because of the shareholder meeting. I think it's just because Robinhood right here, 22.42. I think it's just because, people are taking some profits, dude. I mean, like the thing ran up from 115 to almost 130. Now here at 123. Yeah, people taking profits. The thing is, it fell to this level a couple times earlier in the morning and in the pre-markets. It recovered pretty easily. I mean, people bought the stock, and so it'll be interesting to see how people conceptualize it right now. But the 2 to 3% dips that happen, people do enter in and they take advantage of those opportunities. One of the things that Jensen Huang said, by the way, Amazon new all-time high. It finally broke through that 190 level. Amazon right here, 192.5. Bank of America upgraded them today to 220. A lot of upgrades they got on the firm across a bunch of firms on the street, but Amazon here doing well at 192. So Jensen Huang, I think the most important thing that he said today is the Blackwell architecture platform will likely be the most successful product in our history and for the entire history of computers. Now, I mean, I don't know if he said this before. He's obviously said something similar to this in terms of just what NVIDIA is doing with generative AI and accelerated computing. But it's the first time I've heard him say Blackwell is going to be the thing that people don't even fully understand yet. And if that's the case, that just is going to mean more growth. He also said AI is a $50 trillion market. He said something akin to that over the previous months. And if you believe Blackwell, which is, they have a new thing called Rubin. So Blackwell revenue, he said, is going to be recognized this year. Rubin's coming out later as well. If the market is 50 trillion and NVIDIA's revenues are only 79 billion trailing 12 months, market cap's only 3 trillion, there's a lot of room to grow, which is why people might end up buying the dip on NVIDIA. So that's what we get from NVIDIA. Now, in terms of Robinhood, I thought it was a good call. I mean, some of those questions, S&P 500, dividends, those are, Robinhood's being really nice answering those questions, but they don't need to answer those questions because those questions are just not that important. But the questions that I liked were, first, on the credit card. We already knew there were 1 million people on the list. 500,000 of those people were not gold, right? So if Robinhood, which everyone's complaining about the credit card rollout, I think it's genius, dude. I think, they're saying we're trying to look at the data and have cohort analysis, all that stuff. I think what they're really doing is trying to figure out how the fuck can they get those 500,000 people that are on the wait list but not upgraded to gold turn into gold members. Because if they can do like a couple 100,000 for the next 2 quarters, they've just sustained their gold subscriber growth. They already did 140,000 this quarter. They did 260,000 last quarter. We don't have the next 2 months of data. So if they beat that 260,000 number on the backs of just like emailing the people that are not on gold and saying, hey, like, here's your credit card, we're ready to give it to you, just sign up for gold. And here's another piece of DD that some people might not know. I think they're doing annual billing now. I saw a video of someone who got upgraded to gold, and he said, now Robinhood's charging me $50 per year annually versus $5 a month versus $60 a year. So instead of making $60, Robinhood makes $50, but they get to recognize that revenue immediately. Now, I don't know for how many people they're doing that, but they are doing that, which is very important. And so if they can upgrade a ton more people, obviously for the credit card, that's going to be a good thing. They did get upgraded today to $29. I put out a couple thoughts on Twitter about it. To summarize, again, starting July 1st, Robinhood did say, Vlad's like, hey, we can buy back our stock. So if we need to, we can buy back the stock, which means we're not afraid to engage in buybacks, which is a hedge against any weakness that they may see over the next few months in terms of the stock price. Again, in terms of the actual $29 price target, if they grow EPS over the next 2 years to that dollar range in 2026 with net deposit growth at 20%, right now it's at 45%, and account growth at 5%, then yeah, there is a lot of more room to grow, which is why they got that price target upgrade today from Wolf Research. And again, that credit card starting to roll out more credit cards means more gold subscribers. Also, they lowered margin rates across the platform. They went from 4.1 billion margin balances to 4.5 in 10 days. It's been about a month since they did that. If that goes up to 5.5 billion, they're going to make less on the margin, but they're going to have more people putting their money onto the platform to take advantage of those margin rates, which are now the lowest in the industry outside of interactive brokers, which means, people are going to bring in more net deposits on the platform, which is the most important thing in the context of Robinhood. Jonathan says, yeah, it's now $50 annually. They will credit back any monthly cost you already paid. So that's perfect. That means next quarter, they can recognize $50 in their others revenue outside of transaction and net interest revenues. That can surge up, because if they take $50 from you once and it decreases churn, because instead of you unsubscribing, they get $50 immediately versus you having to pay $5 a month, that could be a revenue booster to their overall estimates, which is another thing I think the street maybe hasn't priced in yet. But it's going to be very exciting for Robinhood if they get that $50 right up front, because they get to recognize more revenue. So important to see that playing out. Amit, would you buy more Hood stock and options at this level? So I did buy more options when it fell to, I think, a little bit above this. I think it was like 22.80. No, it was at 21.40. I bought stock at 21.30. So I bought some stock at 21.30 2 days ago, and I bought some options when it was at like 22 or 21.80. Look, my price target is 25 for the year. Could it go past that? Yes, but my personal price target is 25. And so if you feel the risk reward is worth it there, then yeah, it's at 22.42. I don't know if it goes to like 35.40. I think it's possible if we have a really good bull run to the end of the year, but 25 is my personal price target, and I think it can get there. But yeah, I did buy over the past couple of days. Okay, Shyam Sankar is not live yet, so we're still waiting for him. I have it pulled up, but that one is not live yet. What is the limit of Robinhood credit? It's based on your credit. It's based on how they underwrite you. I see a lot of people got 20, 30 grand of credit, so it's really based on you getting approved, right, for certain amounts of credit, and then you will know. And yeah, they are FDIC insured for about 2.25 million on brokerage cash, because they use their network of banks to do that. Cool. So that's what we saw in Robinhood. They also mentioned the AI stuff. I saw a job listing. Someone tagged me the other day of a generative AI engineer that Robinhood was looking to hire. It does seem like Vlad is thinking of AI. I think robo AI advisory. I think just like showing stocks, like me asking, like, could you imagine if Robinhood launches an LLM where I'm like, hey, show me a stock with a price to sales of 5, revenues under 5 billion, and a market cap of, between 10 and 20 billion. Click. And then it shows up a list of stocks. I mean, everyone's been thinking of this like financial GPT. It hasn't been executed yet in a meaningful way. Shyam Sankar is still not live yet. And so as soon as they launch that, I mean, dude, talk about, and imagine they make it a free tool. You don't even have to be on Robinhood Gold. The amount of people I think that would go to that LLM and just start asking questions and then getting stocks to be able to like do stock screening in a much more like interactive way, I think that could massively increase growth in the platform as well, which would be very exciting. So far, AI solutions for stocks suck. Yep. Shout out to Arnie in the chat. AI solutions for stocks absolutely suck right now, and it would be really nice to see a good one. Speaking of Arnie, let me pull up his Twitter. He tweeted a picture today as we're getting into the Palantir keynote. So a couple of things. If you guys don't follow Arnie, please make sure to follow him. I'm putting his Twitter in the chat, and you can check him out right there. Amit, do you know why Robinhood doesn't operate in Europe? It's because of regulations. Regulations are tough to deal with in Europe. That's why they only have crypto, not brokerage. Once they figure out the regulations, which is tough, it's going to take some time. But once they do that, I think they expand to Europe. So Palantir hosted some boot camps over the past couple of days. And Ted Marby, the head of commercial, he posted this picture. And Arnie summarized it right here. Palantir delivers 33% acceleration of Airbus production, 60% cost reduction at BP, 30% reduction in power utilization at Jacobs, 12% reduction in waste at Panasonic, 70% faster ERP harmonization, 65% reduction in transformer ignitions, 25% increase in productivity at Eaton. They just signed an extension with them a couple of weeks ago, and then $200 million of cost savings at Tyson Foods. This is what the street is looking for. This is what the street wants to see in Q2. If we show this in Q2 and we show that we're not just a SaaS, we're like a SaaS on steroids, and AI is the steroid that we are taking, I think the street's going to get very excited. And the big and is, can they, increase that growth from 21 to 22, 23 year over year? I think the street's going to get very excited about that. Another thing right here, Palantir indirectly partnered with Mayo Clinic, a top-ranked U.S. hospital, so more healthcare news. Mayo will integrate Surgence into its digital supply chain. Now, if you don't know what Surgence is, Surgeons is the platform that Palantir created with Concordance Health, which is an operating system for healthcare supply chains. Again, this is why this company is so freaking cool. They've got Airbus and Skywise. They've got with HHI, their shipyard version of Skywise. They're creating different operating systems and platforms for different industries. Surgeons is their platform for the healthcare supply chain. Arnie says, this is a beautiful case of Palantir customer enabling Palantir's adoption to its own customers, similar to how Airbus sells Skywise to its clients. The network effects are real. So even though Palantir is not literally partnering with Mayo Clinic, their platform with Surgeons is what's partnering with Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic, one of the top hospitals in the United States. Why are they picking Surgeons? Because Surgeons is legit, because they're actually building an actual operating system with Palantir. This happened in January of 2022 or 2023, I think, that initial press release, along with Cardinal Health. That's another one we don't talk about, but that's another partnership they have in the supply chain healthcare ecosystem. And it just means there's going to be more growth across the entire healthcare industry, which is great for Palantir. So there you go. There you go. Absolutely incredible stuff in the context of Palantir, and more updates for them. Okay, Shyam is still not live. This is the link for anyone who wants to check it out. He was supposed to start at 1 p.m. Usually these things start a little bit late, so maybe it'll start in like a couple minutes. But we'll be listening to him live talk. Now, Shyam did put out an article. I was going to do a Daily Palantir episode on it probably later today on this article. It's a long article, so I was going to summarize the article. But basically what he talked about in the article likely will be talked about in this keynote. And this is the article right here. It was published in American Affairs Journal. The title is Rebooting the American Industrial Base, Software and the Future of Manufacturing. Now, Bitcoin below 61,000. Bitcoin's tanking right now. Where's Bitcoin? Robin is still 2247. Bitcoin 60,950. Okay, so Bitcoin's taking a little hit. And then where's Nvidia? Nvidia 123. Amazon, though, doing well, 193. The reason this article is important is because essentially what Shyam's going to be talking about, and I've heard his keynote that he's going to give today. I think, okay, it's starting. I heard this a couple of weeks ago at the DC conference. All right, so I'll do my summary of it after the keynote's done. I think it's starting right now.
Just phenomenal.
And we'll get into it. All right, we're starting. Here we go.
Let me know when the slides are ready. There we go. Palantir's mission is to promote freedom and prosperity. The underlying purpose of our national security is to underwrite our economic prosperity. 50% of our business is government, working directly on matters of defense and national security. Our platform powers operations across and countering the axis of authoritarianism from Israel to Ukraine to the Pacific. That's freedom. The other 50% of our business is commercial, helping companies make planes, trains, automobiles, and even ships, building electric batteries, factories, power plants, and construction equipment, producing oil and gas, copper, iron ore, and more. We are the Iron Man suit for over 100,000 factory workers every single day as they operate in industrials, in production, and on the factory floor. That's prosperity. In defense tech, we often think about the Last Supper, the dinner in 1993 after the end of the Cold War. Maybe we thought we won, perhaps more accurately, they lost, and we needed a peace dividend. The budget was going to get cut. We went from a world of 51 primes down to a world with 5. And this is often cited as part of the decline of our industrial base. That consolidation led to conformity, but I think the much greater consequence of this consolidation is the financialization of defense. These companies became about leverage ratios, buybacks, dividends. The managerial class took over. The founders were driven out and moved into other sectors of our economy. Small business became a welfare aesthetic. Small businesses were supposed to stay small. David was not supposed to beat Goliath. And so many today view true believers with disdain and skepticism. They would prefer mercenaries over missionaries. But I can't imagine working with anyone who wasn't a true believer. The government needs its Kelly Johnsons and its Rickovers. It needs its Colonel Boyds. It needs its Henry Kaisers and its Oppenheimers. World War II and the immediate period afterward was marked by the contribution of founders. It was William Lear, not Learjet. It was Sikorsky, Henry Ford, Howard Hughes. It was Jack Northrop, not Northrop Grumman. It was Glenn Martin, not Lockheed Martin. And much can be said about what went wrong. We replaced our adoration of engineers with the false gods of system analysis. Enthoven, in his religion of system analysis, said that basically economic study was all that was needed. Study conducted by bureaucrats who knew nothing of combat or engineering, and they were going to tell us what weapons we needed in what quantity for our national defense. The same thing was happening in corporate America. Neutron Jack Welch was revered by Wall Street. He could do no wrong. Yet somehow, under his watch, GE went from making just about everything to manufacturing toxic mortgages. And what Jack could not handle, his successor made quick work of. And this is the same reason we have doors falling off airplanes. At so many of these institutions, the steering wheel in the boardroom is like a Disneyland ride, a performative prop, disconnected from anything. Executives are puzzled that their rotations don't have any results on the factory floor. Workers are equally puzzled that their leaders seem to be unaware of this fact. We have cargo cultured our way here. We have replaced creativity with business school case studies. Our capital markets treat any sort of differently shaped business as deviance. As Druckenmiller points out, Amazon has missed 4 of its last 10 earnings. IBM has made every single one of them. Which company defines American exceptionalism today? But we're back. The founders are back. In defense tech, over $120 billion of capital has flown to founders to build new companies. And those capital flows, as this conference very much evidenced, goes well beyond defense tech to deep tech, to manufacturing technology. We have a generational injection of the crazy ones, which I hope you're all proud to call yourselves, to build things. And in doing so, rebuild America. We have the early formations of a broader re-industrial revolution. And that is crucial because at the dawn of World War II and into the early Cold War, we did not have a defense industrial base. We had an American industrial base. Chrysler had a missile division and built missiles. General Mills, the cereal company, had a mechanical division. They made inertial guidance systems for ICBMs and lots of military equipment. Goodrich was not a tire company. Ball, yes, they made those glass jars. They also made aerospace components. And we have this chance to bring that back. The sort of 50-50 split of Palantir's business was once the norm, even if it's now the anomaly. And I think that norm is very important as we think about it because it's what underwrites both our freedom and our prosperity. And that's crucial because innovation follows from productivity. Innovation cannot be treated as a standalone category. It is an integral part to production and productivity. It's through making things that we learn how to make things better. And that's why the most productive companies tend to be the most innovative. 2 of my favorite examples from Arthur Herman, Pontiac and the 20mm Oerlikon anti-aircraft gun. When the US government first came to them in World War II and asked them to start making them, the production time was 3.5 hours per unit. They got it down to 15 minutes. Or the Saginaw Steering Gear Company. This is a company, as the name implies, they had made no firearms in their entire career. They were asked to make 280 30 caliber machine guns. They produced 28,000, 100x improvement in the same unit time. But the reality is, America, we are no longer the best at mass production. With the help of everyone in this room, we may yet again be that, but today we are not. And in this David versus Goliath battle, David wields a software slingshot. And that's because this nation is the best at software by a yawning margin. Think about the fact that there are no Chinese or Indian enterprise software companies that are competitive on the global stage. If software was just about IQ, there would be. It's not. It's about culture. And that culture only exists at scale in America. And it didn't come from Israel or India. It came from Iowa. It came from Bob Noyce, the co-inventor of the transistor and the co-founder of Intel. It came to America from the Midwest, from here. And it's deeply rooted in our willingness to play positive-sum games, our open communication and high trust. The very phrase open door policy is also a Noycean invention. Software-defined production. Our software helps Anduril build the Roadrunner, it helps Chrysler build cars, it helps GE build jet engines, and it helps Deere build tractors. It is software that enables America to reimagine production. SpaceX has 1,800 aerospace engineers and about 1,500 software engineers. Tesla has 5,000 mechies and about 4,500 software engineers. Now, make no mistake, these bits are not going to replace atoms. They just let you bend them better. And so we have lined up our whole company behind empowering you, the builders of America. We're kicking off our industry AI with build camps that we did earlier this morning that we're bringing to all of you to go so much faster. American manufacturing requires a modern operating system that drives radical upskilling of our workforce, that allows you to leverage all of your unstructured, structured data, your Slacks, your video conference rooms, your structured PDF manuals with images and annotations to build an AI technician for every single one of your operators. You need a modern operating system to build a unified namespace that integrates your batch with your streaming, your ERP, your MES, your IoT, your PLC systems into one cohesive single pane of data and single pane of glass that harmonizes this information into a single semantic model for your equipment, your factory, your parts, your product. And then the imposition of advanced AI on that, not for ex post analytics, but in the control loop organization and manipulation. And software that can meet the modalities of the modern factory, everything from your desktop to your mobile, but also mixed reality. And this is a vision of production as code. Industry AI enables you to make your business programmable. And the build camps here were just the beginning of this. We are leaning in entirely as a company, partnering deeply, holding your outcomes as our very own, forward deploying to deliver quickly what the nation needs here. And this is critical because you need alpha, not beta. You need software that's going to make you more different, not more similar to the same shit that doesn't work.
Let's
You need
go,
software that allows you
Shyam.
to enhance and enable your ambition, not thwart it. And that's how you get to lights out production, and that's how we knock the lights out of our adversary. Building for tomorrow began yesterday. Thank you.
That was great. Hold on. I want to hear that last sentence again. He actually cursed, dude. That was great.
Because you need alpha, not beta. You need software that's going to make you more different, not more similar to the same shit that doesn't work.
I love it. I love it. That was great. That was awesome. Okay, cool. So, I have a lot to say about that talk. It's similar to the article you put out. I'm going to do a video today going more in depth and talking about that. But at its core, there's two arguments he made. Number one, we need to reinvigorate and revitalize our defense industrial base, which means we need to build more shit. And if we build more shit, we need to have software to operationalize and streamline the effectiveness of building more shit. Number two, why do we need to build more shit? Because we need peace through strength, is what Karp has been saying as well. If America wants to win, we need to make sure people that came up with the transistor have the opportunity, the freedom, the potential to come up with more innovations. That's why India, China, et cetera, are not on the cutting edge of innovation. America is. So if we need to build more things and we need to protect American democracy and freedoms, we need to have software be the actual, what I would call underpinnings and foundation that undergirds the ability for us to be able to build more things. On top of that, Shyam, what he's been talking about for the past couple of weeks has been the philosophy around why building is so important in the United States and why software is the moat that America has. Karp has been talking about this as well. The reason they got that hardware contract, that hardware prime contract for Titan, $189 million, we were not supposed to get that. Again, Raytheon was supposed to get it as a legacy prime contractor, and it was a hardware contract, not a software contract. Palantir got it because the DoD recognized that software is vital to making that hardware work. If it's going to be an autonomous vehicle, then you need autonomy. You need to understand how that works. And then on top of that, you likely need a company on the cutting edge of innovation, not a company that's on the back burner of innovation. And Palantir is one of those companies. So I'm going to talk a lot more about that in the video that we come out today, because there's a lot to say. But I think his core thesis, and the reason I think I can analyze this hopefully well for you guys, is because I listened to the same talk Shyam gave 3 times. I listened to it at the DC reception. I listened to it at the actual DC Expo event. And then I listened to it today. So I've heard what he said a bunch of times, and it's starting to kick into me what argument he's trying to make, and then what clients as an investor he's trying to get. He's trying to get, you know, not the next Panasonic, but other battery manufacturers that exist. He's not trying to get Boeing, because I don't even know if Palantir is allowed to get Boeing, given that they work with Airbus. But companies like Boeing, companies that are struggling with their defense, not only industrial architecture, but also their ability to manufacture at the speed at the speed and efficiency that you need in the United States, given AI is embedding throughout all these operations. I think Shyam's going after those clients. Karp's going after different clients. Shyam's going after different clients with this messaging. And if they can get more of these clients, I think they're going to get a lot more momentum. Someone says software doesn't stop bridges from collapsing. This is where I think Shyam would disagree. I think Shyam would fundamentally disagree. I think he would, even in that podcast I did with him, he says software can stop an airplane's window from flying off. He was making fun of Boeing there. I think he believes that bridges will stop collapsing if we actually architect them in a way that uses software to be the basis by which we create, not on the back burner. And that inevitably, makes America more prosperous at the end of the day. Okay, cool. So we'll talk about that in the Daily Pouncer episode later today. So I'll be back for the market close at 3:45. We did 3 things today. If you just joined the stream, we did the Nvidia shareholder meeting. That's at the beginning of the video. Then we talked about Robinhood at minute 35. And then we saw the Shyam keynote. All of them happened perfectly. I thought they would intertwine with each other, but they all happened back to back to back. So if you want to check out all 3 of those things, you can go back and stream it, and then you can listen to what we had to say. After the bell, we got Micron. I think I'm going to stream Micron because I've never listened to Micron, but I think their earnings call will be very important based on the results. It's definitely going to affect Nvidia. So we'll probably stream Micron earnings. I think it starts at like 4:30 today, and go through that and see what they have to say. So it's going to be a really important day for the market close. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. See you in 2 hours for the market close, and let's see what happens with Micron. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.